Did you know that gravity is the cause for our waves and how our tides roll in and out? Believe it or not, that is the answer to the question. Gravity is the main reason all of this happens. The Earth and the Moon both have a force that pulls objects towards the center, and that is what is called gravity. So how exactly does this work with our tidal forces? The Moon is close enough, despite its small size, that it has a tug on the Earth, believe it or not. And that result is the force that impacts the oceans, which is what creates the tidal waves that moves through. So we have two tidal budges from locations, different locations, that passes through these bulges, and they experience their high tides. So this is what is going to be the solar impact of it. The sun, believe it or not only the moon, but the sun also has an impact on the Earth's tides. It's not as impactful as the moon, but just know that it does have that pull that's associated with it. So the tidals also have influence on our storm surge. So what exactly is storm surge? Well, storm surges can range from low storm surge to high storm surge, which is typically what you see during hurricane landfalls along coastlines, things like that. So storm surge is the abnormal rise of water over and above predicted tide levels. So this is a weaker scenario if we do have a weaker storm that moves through. You're really going to have small amounts of surge, but it is still a rise in the water level. It's not going to be as noticeable, but you will have a small rise in the water level. So storm surges, if it is strong, you're going to have a higher rise in the water. This could be impactful to some structures that are along coastlines. Now, this is if we have major storm surge. This is usually when water rises above 20 feet and higher, and this is going to leave devastating impacts potentially to structures that surround coastlines, areas that are going to be impacted by that storm surge. You could have well offshore locations when water begins to rise above its normal tidal levels. This is how it's going to impact well offshore areas. So the water levels are going to continue to rise. Flooding and structural impacts will then begin if it is just offshore. Now, as it makes landfall, that's when we're going to have the lower air pressure and the strong winds that's going to push water inland. That is where we could potentially have devastating structural impacts along buildings and areas of the coastline. So this is Emily Explains, all about your storm surges and the impacts that gravity have with tides.